I'm gonna go 12. I'm getting old. There we go.
You know, we're being hit by copyright right now.
Yep.
We figured. Yeah. They're not the bad ones, though. Yep.
You guys may recognize this old classic. I was only 9 years old. I loved Shrek so much. I had all the merchandise and movies. I pray to Shrek every night before bed, thanking him for the life I've been given. Shrek is love, I say. Shrek is life. My dad hears me and calls me a faggot. I know he was just jealous of my devotion for Shrek. I called him a cunt. He slaps me and sends me to go to sleep. I'm crying now, and my face hurts. I lay in bed, and it's really cold. Suddenly, a warmth is moving towards me. It's Shrek. I'm so happy. He whispers into my ear. This is my swamp. He grabs me with his powerful ogre hands and puts me down on my hands and knees. I'm ready. I spread my ass cheeks for Shrek. He penetrates my butthole. It hurts so much, but I do it for Shrek. I can feel my butt tearing as my eyes start to water. I push against his force. I want to
I never want to hear I never want to hear I push against his force ever again.
Not even done. He roars a mighty roar as he fills my butt with his love. My dad walks in. Shrek looks at him straight in the eyes and says, "It's all ogre now." Shrek leaves through my window. Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
Yeah.
You've never heard that before?
No.
That one's old.
There's some Shrek fanfic there.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
I mean, that's definitely the internet in a nutshell right there. And thank you, Brad. This is Verbal Assault Podcast. If you haven't run off, welcome.
Stick around.
Now, I am kind of disappointed. I'm a little disappointed Dave wasn't here for that. I just so I could see him squirming.
Yeah, you're right.
He might be listening while he's driving.
That would be cool.
I hope he's listening.
I hope so. He could talk to us about it later. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had one of those weeks, and it's not just weeks. It's just recently where I'm just generally just kind of pissed off all the time and just irritated about everything.
I feel you.
The general state of my existence in the world. Like I was watching. You guys ever watch Peaky Blinders? You guys ever watch that show?
No, but it's a funny name.
You need to watch it. It's one of the best shows out there. It's awesome. But I finally got Netflix back, so I watched season 5, and it was really cool. And it's like it's building up to this thing. It's setting all these plot lines in motion, and you're so into it. It's such like a heavy, dramatic kind of show. And it's only 6 episodes in the season, and I've been waiting like 2 years for this. And I get to like episode 6. This was a few days ago, and I get to the end of it, and it's just like one of those complete. Not only is it a cliffhanger, but it completely knocks everything backwards, and then it hits you with a cliffhanger, and then it doesn't resolve any of the things that happens. And I swear to God, I was so fucking. The rest of my night, I just kept drinking. I was in a drunken rage, just sitting in my fucking camper, angry and irritated. And you get that feeling of like,
Goddamn Pinky Blinders.
I I need to find. It's like you feel like I need to find something to do. I need to find something to get involved with, but I can't. I'm just so irritated at this, and I want to see what's going on with this story, but I can't. It's gonna be. It's like it'll be another like 2 years before this thing comes out. Like, why would you have a cliffhanger? And that this came out like last year, so why would you do an unresolved cliffhanger with like 3 years in between?
You would love Game of Thrones.
Well, I've watched a good amount of it, but why would you? It's so bad. It's and then tonight, I've been we've since our favorite bard was murdered by this city of Knoxville. The city of Knoxville murdered our favorite bar. Since that happened, we've been trying to find another bar to go. I was like, maybe there's one here in Maryville. Maybe there's one in town. Okay, so I find the Public House on High Street. It looks cool. The reviews, it's like a cafe atmosphere, but with beer. They brew their own. They have like small batch. They brew their own beer. They got an awesome grilled cheese. That's what I read. I'm like, a good grilled cheese. I'm excited about that. I haven't had a grilled cheese in a long time. So they were closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay,
Already
fine.
a classy move, yeah.
All right, I've seen that. I've seen that before. So today's Wednesday. I'm like, okay. I invited Patrick. I texted him. I was like, I'm gonna go try this place. Get in the parking lot. Darkness. It's like a black. Look at that building. It's a black hole.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, is this one of those places that just like opens when they feel like it? I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering that. So I'm like, I'm going to find out for sure. So I park and I walk up to the door and I look into that dark window and it says, "Thank you so much. We're very sorry. Thank you for your patronage." And I'm just like, they're permanently closed. They had positive reviews 2 months ago, and at some point they closed down. And I'm just like, again, I just wanted grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese and a good IPA. Oh.
I just wanted to see what happened to this fascist gang leader in Peaky Blinders. I just wanted to see and then I just wanted grilled cheese. And
PBR is served out of an old Dixie cup.
I've talked about this in the past, and me and Patrick have talked about it.
Oh yeah.
The idea of opening a bar, and Patrick was like, a bar you could smoke cigars in, like a half cigar store, half bar. I'm like, that's an awesome. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. And I just think I can't even get a fucking podcast popular after doing it for 4 years straight. I'm gonna go thousands of dollars into debt and open a fucking bar. Like, what am I fucking?
I don't know if drinking's gonna help. I don't know if that'd be the first thing I suggest.
Just keep drinking, Brad. Just keep drinking. Yeah, so I'm just I don't know, just general depression, I guess. How are you guys doing? How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Couldn't be any better.
One thing I always know about Steve-O, Steve-O's always on top of the world. And I know Brad is climbing up that way too.
I'm getting there, baby.
I always feel like Patrick's just even keel guy, so
I'm actually kind of cold today. Cold in here. Yeah.
Oh, you mean physically? I thought you meant like emotionally. I'm emotionally cold.
I can get that way if you want me to.
I can get that way if you want me to.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Steve-O. What were you saying?
No, this was just a dude in my class. Yeah.
Oh, so you're taking your classes. How's it going?
Or is this a rival?
I mean, you heard that beginning bit, didn't you? That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's going good. I'm actually learning shit. I think we do demos tomorrow, and not that really means a whole lot to me, but it is something to put on a resume. And then the ultimate goal is to be able to do it as a side hustle and make some cash. I don't know about necessarily doing it full time, but at least a side hustle. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work to try to go straight towards it.
You
No,
gotta
I
drop.
think
You gotta drop everything and go for it if you want to go for it.
Quit my job tomorrow.
Yeah.
drive to California.
Well, I mean, I got all the pieces in place. I got this shit back here. I got one of these. I mean,
So how did you do that? Or is that just hanging from like your ceiling type thing? Or
so
did you get
I'm glad you
actual
asked.
wood?
Yeah, I guess I could. Here, I'll just do this. Let me back this thing up. You guys can
Good.
still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's a $300 microphone. So here's a little tour. So we got the wall all treated over here.
It's nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, the wall's treated up to the ceiling. I still got to get the bottom of the floor. And my cable's not actually long enough. So let's hope I can do this. You see little hooks in the ceiling?
Okay.
I
I see it now. I see it now.
So it's hanging.
Yeah,
it's
it is
hanging,
hanging.
yeah.
Okay.
It's hanging. See? I can just
Okay. Yeah.
wiggle
Yeah.
it.
Okay, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can raise them.
Yeah.
Raise them up, and then that way they're out of the way when I'm not doing shit.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
It might have been. It's actually it's a shirt from a game from the Well, yeah, it's a joke shirt. Well, the writing on below it it says we deliver anywhere in 3 minutes or less, guaranteed.
Damn.
Mock pizza, baby. Yeah, it's from a game called Earthbound, where the pizza place you call on the phone and within 3 minutes somebody brings you a pizza, or they call you and say you're in a cave and I can't find you, so I'm not bringing you your pizza. Very realistic.
It's like probably my all-time favorite novel is Snow Crash, and it's sort of set in this dystopian anarcho-capitalist future. And at the beginning of the story, the guy is a pizza delivery guy, but in this universe, pizza delivery guys are like the most badass. I mean, we are badass, but this guy is at like this fucking turbocharged car, and the mafia owns all the pizza shops. And the thing, it's like Enzo's Pizza, and Enzo is the mafia boss, and they have that 30-minute guarantee. And if you're late, then Enzo's promise is that he will personally deliver your pizza. So if you are the pizza guy and you are past 30 minutes, if you're late, they will fucking kill you. So the beginning of the book is him like basically getting fucked over by the guy making the pizza, and he's late, and he's trying to get this pizza to this place, and he has to there actually aren't any laws. He breaks local laws because each neighborhood is basically its own country. So he's like blasting through people's yards, and he goes through a swimming pool, and just like he's going everywhere to try to get this pizza there, because if he's late, then they'll kill him. Well,
Isn't that
he
Edward
ends up being late. What?
Yeah.
It's an amazing book. That's just the beginning. And he has to go from there. After he is late. So part of that is him just kind of having to deal with the mafia the whole book. But it used to be that, like, remember there were certain pizza companies that have that 30-minute guarantee, and then I guess the story was that an old lady got run over by a pizza guy, and they had to, there's a big lawsuit, and they had to stop doing that. Yeah.
I got some more shit going on.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, I got a new hobby, man. I'm getting deep into it. You can ask Steve-O. Oh,
Sam.
yeah. I have recently put together, and by recently put together, set up the 3D printer that Kegel gave us a long time ago. Shout out to Kegel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been 3D printing shit and slowly learning. I bought more filament yesterday, so I'll have different colors. But yeah, it's a coaster. Yeah, you could put beer on it. You could put hands on it. You could put bottles on it.
You can put your testicles on it.
You could. Yeah, Steve-O's guaranteed. But yeah, I've been building shit with that, and I'm learning how to do other shit with it because there's a bunch of shit. I actually got the settings dialed in right. I made a little boat. Oddly enough, a little boat's what you build with the 3D printer to make sure it's properly calibrated, and it turned out damn near perfect.
Does it float?
Actually, I haven't tried that.
It worked out perfectly.
Now that you
Haven't
mention
tested
it, what kind of boat is it if it can't float? You're right. Well, I know what I'll be doing after the podcast. Taking a bath.
Print out a little ducky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll live stream it.
And then sell the water afterwards.
Yeah, sell the
Yeah.
water.
$10,000. Brad's bath water.
Brad's boat bath water.
You just
Yeah,
got to
that's
stick
about
out your tongue and cross your eyes first.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's for the kids. They love that shit.
They do love it. The kids. Of course they love it. But yeah, now I'm about $150 deep into this. I spent 100 yesterday on shit on Amazon, and then I spent like 50 earlier in the week on more shit.
Like material?
Glass was about $20. The filaments were about $20 each, and I bought 3 of them. I bought so you can print on the bed itself, which you can also scratch, and when you try to take something off, you can screw up the leveling, so you have to redo that. But with the glass, I can just clip it onto top of the bed, and then when something's done, I can just pull the glass off. And if the glass is good and it works the way I want it to, then I could just order another piece of glass and just swap something out and back in and just immediately have it get back to work.
I have no
Yeah,
idea
you get-
what any of that means.
Yeah, that's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, but yeah, pretty much the way it works is the way the one that I have works is it's got the extruder that moves back and forth with motors and the
Right.
X and Y axis, and then the bed will go down a little bit, so it'll print a layer, go down a little bit, print another layer, go down a little bit, print another layer, and then it'll fill shit into. Oh, actually, I do have a time lapse. I guess I could. Then I will email it to you shortly. But yeah, I got a little time lapse of a 3D test. Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle.
What did Kyle do?
Oh, I was muted on the stream.
Oh.
Oh, good looking out, Kyle.
Good looking.
Luckily, I haven't gone to Steve-O yet.
Yeah.
Oh, how long has Steve-O been muted for?
Since the beginning. Remember the thing where during the pre-show graphic up there, I have to turn my volume down. I didn't turn it back up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start reminding you that.
It's so much shit to juggle. Right at the start of the show.
Yeah, while he's pulling that up, Steve-O.
Yes.
What's going on with you?
The graphic on your screen right now, I know you guys can't see it, but I made a little GIF from my pad shots today. We have 60 more Starlink satellites up in orbit. So we're up to 240 or 242 because there were 2 test satellites that they set up a while back, but I don't know that they're operational, but so there's 240 minus if any have deorbited. I'm not sure if any deorbited, but there you go. So we've so that launched this morning. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Starlink shit in the future. But because last week was the 200th episode and we kind of, went through and did all the, played all the clips and stuff, I didn't get a chance to talk about the in-flight abort, which I think, we probably have a few, like Kyle here. Kyle is a local, so he knows all about this stuff. He got to see it himself, I think. But we probably have some listeners that don't know much about it.
Didn't we talk about that?
Did we?
Yeah, we were talking about the results.
Starlink before.
No, the in-flight abort.
Did we talk about it? Did I show the explosion on there?
Yeah.
Nathan,
I was a couple beers deep.
Did you send Dave the invite?
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he texted saying send the invite.
He said send the invite, and Steve-O is muted.
Fix the muted.
Yeah, muted's fixed. Invite sent. Well, damn. Well, that was my
Yeah,
shit.
we talked
I was
about
going
it.
to talk about in-flight abort.
Actually, I have something space related, and I wanted to mention, and I figured you would talk about it. It was the logo for Space Force,
Oh, yeah.
which looks straight up Star
strikingly
Trek.
similar.
Yeah.
I enjoy the camo that Space Force needs in space.
Space Force. Yeah, here we go. Space Force logo. Right here, folks.
It is
there it is.
That arrow is such a it's so Star Trek.
What is it? It's the Starfleet what?
Enterprise.
Oh, this is Starfleet logo.
Yeah,
Let's see. Oh, somebody's here. There's just an image of them being compared.
Yeah.
Let's see. Open image in new window. Yep, there you go. Here, you want to see it?
Yeah, we'll see it.
That's great.
Now, see, I think this is a great move. I appreciate this.
Here, I'm just closing a couple tabs here.
Starfleet one still looks better, but
yeah,
it's got a nice. But yeah, that's.
They're not.
Can they sue the government for?
I don't think it's similar enough.
You don't think so?
Well,
it's just different enough.
Well, because I mean, the whole the circular text is pretty common for stuff like this. The delta thing, this symbol here is pretty common. It's
okay.
And I'm actually kind of mimicking something I heard on a podcast I listen to every week. But yeah, and it's it's space related. This circular thing it is reminiscent of this, but it's also reminiscent of NASA. Anything space related is that's in orbit, obviously. So it's it's very similar. I'm not saying that they weren't inspired by it. Probably whoever's into Space Force probably into Star Trek too.
I feel it's fine because Star Trek sucks now anyway.
Yeah.
At least keep the memory alive, I guess.
Supposedly this new Picard show is okay, but I haven't seen it. And I never watched Next Generation.
I thought it was
Generation is awesome.
I think it's kind of like a mini series, or like it's
a TV show, CBS All Access. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I heard it was from Star Trek fans, and what I heard it looked like shit to me. But Brad, what were you saying?
Oh, Star Trek Next Generation and Voyager were awesome. I like those two series.
Oh yeah, Next Generation is fantastic. Still, for me, it's definitely the original series.
Yeah, it's the original, man. There was like a year there that when I go to bed, because it was all on Netflix. The entire series was on Netflix, and so every time I go to bed, I'd always fall asleep to an episode of Star Trek. Sometimes more than just one.
I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
The Trouble with Tribbles. That was a good one. Yeah. That's the only one I actually know the title of. The only.
Yeah. I feel like Steve-O, you're a very hard science guy. I actually didn't really see you liking Star Trek.
It's good in terms of like the philosophy of how we should conduct ourselves if we ever get out of the solar system and start finding intelligent life.
Just invading and ruining these people's lives the way they've been lived.
Well, we're not supposed to do that. It's the prime directive.
Prime directive, man.
We're supposed to leave them alone. I mean, I think sometimes they do a pretty poor job of following the prime directive.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's like prime directive says don't interfere, but Captain Kirk is like, either I gotta bang this,
women, yeah,
yeah, I gotta bang this bitch, or somebody's being oppressed somehow. And we gotta do something. And there's that one episode when they go to that planet that is basically like 1940s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Nazis everywhere, and they're dressed as Nazis, like infiltrating. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. Oh, look what I see here. That's Mr. Dave. Dave said.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm so happy that you did all that drive and came in and dropped in on the podcast.
I wasn't feeling it at first, but I said, duty to the cause.
That's right.
This is the way.
He said duty.
Do you know the way?
This is the way. A little Mandalorian there.
Dave, how you doing?
I've had better days. I'm all right now.
It's 11.
Did you get robbed in Chupacabra?
I did not get robbed in Chupacabra, but
Not that bad.
I had a rough work day. Things didn't go as planned.
Oh, don't you hate it?
It happens, you know.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
It's Monday. No. My easy work turned into hard work, which turned into a later day, which turned into a later commute, and etc. I really didn't think I was going to make it, but here I am.
Thank you.
You did
Thank
it, kid.
you, Dave.
Yeah.
With Becca gone, we really need some moral fiber on the show.
Oh,
feel
that's
that's you.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are the flimsiest moral backbone of any podcast there ever was.
Wet noodle of morality.
That's right.
We'd laugh at a burning baby.
Backs.
Speaking of degenerates, we still need to hear from Patrick. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just great. Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate you calling me that.
Yeah.
Degenerate.
Yes. I live for that moment. Never been called one before.
It couldn't be more
Oh,
true.
don't lie.
Not that I've heard. But at least Nathan had the balls to say it to my face.
That's
To
right.
your digital face.
Yes.
Way to go, Nathan.
But no, I'm doing pretty good. I fell asleep watching Bad Boys the other night.
Who doesn't?
I did too, like a week or two ago.
You're talking about the new one, or
One.
Oh no, not the new one.
fell
Yeah.
asleep in the theater? Did you?
Yeah. I made it
Wow.
halfway through.
Wow.
Oh,
I knew
no.
where this was going. I woke back up. I was like, did this happen?
Did they get the
And-
bad guys?
Will Smith
Well,
will be
Sorry, the
proud.
bad boys.
I won't ruin it, but
What the hell?
Exactly
You fell
what
asleep in a movie theater? Did
yeah,
you just go up to the ticket booth and go, "Excuse me, is this a place where I can take a nap for $10?"
Yeah, they're like, this isn't a hotel.
it was in
Fuck
a
out.
nice recliner, so I was laid back. Yeah,
Was it
I had a
IMAX or
few
something?
drinks. Yeah, had a few drinks, so I just got bored and fell asleep.
Oh, by the way, we do have a voicemail. I didn't mention that.
Sorry, bad boys.
I
That's
heard
our own review without a review.
Yeah,
That's perfect. Yeah, that is a perfect review. Patrick gives us fall asleep reviews quite frequently.
Yeah.
To movies.
I do.
That's disappointing. I think the first Bad Boys, is pretty good. I
First
like
one
it.
was good. Second one was okay.
You're welcome. I did most of the casting for that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You,
I don't say it much, but
Oh yeah, you even starred in the last movie too.
no, I was an extra. The guy behind the garbage can on the side of the garbage truck
Oh,
What?
That
was
was
you?
you?
with the bandana.
Get the fuck out of here.
I didn't realize you made it there.
Wow.
How do you have the time?
Back then, I had plenty of time.
Oh, like last year?
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
I mean,
He
now
jumped-
I'm all booked up with raking leaves.
He just jumped in that helicopter, flew out there. Thank God you stopped getting in those helicopters, Dave.
Yes.
Like,
Too
can
soon.
I not tell a Kobe joke
Too soon.
Too soon,
without even
bro.
saying his name?
I don't know.
Like-
I found out about it through the Weather Channel app. Of
Yeah,
all things.
yeah.
That was on the Weather Channel.
That's how I found out about it. 20 minutes after it happened, I get a notification from the Weather Channel. It says foggy conditions led to the helicopter crash involving Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, what? Did Kobe Bryant die? Because that's all they would have talked about on Sports Center because I was at work
that's
in the
what they
morning.
did when I was at the gym.
And
Immediately.
I looked it up and it was like 20 minutes before TMZ had reported it. And then all that's been on Sports Center since that day is just Kobe Bryant, which is exactly what I thought would happen.
My phone blew up. I have no idea.
What?
I don't follow sports on Google News. Stop phone. Stop.
Doing it again. More of that Kobe news.
So I was at work, and I get the notifications from I mean really I follow space and science, video games, and
Kobe Bryant.
gardening.
Garth Brooks.
So I don't really on that account. So I really don't know how that goes with some Kobe. But sure enough, I had 5 notifications within one span of a trip.
Yeah. I was at the I was at the bar, and they were playing one of his old games on every TV had one of his old games on it, and it was like all these people reminiscing and all this shit. The cute nerdy bartender had a fucking Kobe jersey on, like, and I was like, what the fuck? And then she was over. I was watching her. She was over behind the bar. She was talking with these 2 dudes, and she was like, "Can you believe it? He scored 27 more points in that game." And I'm like, I was like, okay,
Man, I think
Somebody looked up
she
this
loves her
person's
Lakers. I
perspective.
I know at least one person who was pretty affected by it. I guess been a big Kobe fan for a long time, and that I kind of understand. But I think a lot of people kind of get off on being upset over some death or something. You know, like it's like, oh, this is novel. I'll be super upset about this.
I mean, I don't know about being novel about. I mean, I can say that when I read that, and I am not a basketball fan, nor am I a Kobe fan, but I do play video games with somebody that every time they get a headshot from somebody, they go, Kobe.
Yeah.
So that's
now he's got to say
obviously-
it. Now he's got to say it every time he gets headshot.
I don't know how that's going to change, but you know,
They're going to say
guy,
every time a helicopter crashes now.
I mean, so you know, it's a novel thing, and I remember reading it and going, "Aw," and I don't know Kobe. I don't follow basketball, but
You're in Bad Boys too.
I mean, it's just it's kind of weird that a whole nation grieves.
Yeah.
Well, no,
and he actually was a
understand.
good dude, right? Like,
he
didn't have any
I
controversy.
mean, he had that one.
He did have one.
He had that one rape allegation.
He got
but
Me
from
Too'd,
whatever,
and of course.
everything I remember from that was it was clearly bullshit.
It was all consensual, and
she was trying to get money out of him.
And he
that
said,
happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was clear that he was doing good things presently.
Yeah.
You know,
which
and then he, you know, his
yeah,
daughter was in the helicopter too, so that
Yeah.
makes it way worse.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me
I
today about
completely
how he had apparently kind of, I don't know, prophesied his own death. Like years ago, he said he wanted to be immortalized and he wanted to die young. Some interview he gave at like the beginning of his basketball career.
How old is he?
He's
Like
41.
He's like no, he was like 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, he retired super early.
Hey Google, how old was Kobe Bryant?
Is that really early for basketball? It seems like that would be about right.
He was 41.
Well, he went straight from high school to NBA.
Okay.
They won't let you do that now. You have to go through college first.
Oh, they won't even let you? I
Yeah,
feel like that used to happen, not often, but, you know.
Yeah,
often enough.
it did happen with a lot of NBA players. They would just go right out of high school to NBA, and they stopped.
It was more frequent when people wore leather helmets in football, but it's not so common anymore. But I you know, I didn't know much about his career, but I did hear an interesting statistic which said there was some game, and Google me wrong, listeners, but there was some game he scored 88 points in. What the fuck?
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points, man.
I don't think I've ever scored that many. Ever. Period.
No, I understand.
He'll be missed.
Rest in peace, Rip Kobe.
Rip.
I understand getting upset if you have a personal hero that dies. We talked about this. I actually found this clip when I was looking for clips for the show where I had found out my favorite band is King Crimson. That one night we were at the bar and I found out that like the two of the lead singers of that band, I found out they both died that one night.
Yeah,
but Yeah, I was so fucking depressed. I was so fucking sad.
I
from
get
shit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one,
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to think, like who would I be upset about? And it would have to be a musician that is still putting out music, but then all of a sudden they die, and now I never get to hear any new music by them. You know what I mean?
So who would that person be?
There's a couple,
Amy Winehouse.
He doesn't want to say.
No,
I mean,
there's
I can say
Scott
somebody.
Stapp.
Scott Stapp. Yeah.
Matt Bellamy of the Muse, Jim, whatever his name is from Jimmy Eat World, and
Jim from Jimmy.
yeah,
World.
well, yeah.
Jim from
His name
Jimmy.
is Jimmy or Jim Adkins, I think is his name.
Started
They
acting.
still, man, y'all. I know y'all out there in internet land. You haven't heard Jimmy Eat World since whatever, Bleed American, and the whatever those songs were, the hits back in the day, and everybody thinks they're a one-hit wonder. They time after time after time put out incredible albums, and they're not like these massive opuses or something, but they're solid. They're just great songs. So yeah,
What
that
about
would be one.
Elon Musk? What about
Well,
Elon
that would
Musk's
be
team?
devastating to the entire
Yeah.
world. That would
I want
be
another Harambe.
I mean,
Well, I mean, on a shallow note, my sports relation would be if something happened to Peyton Manning, that would bother me.
Yeah, man.
He's pretty good kid. He's not even a kid,
yeah.
but followed
Enough
his
people
career.
hate him.
Think of all the commercials you won't see him in on TV.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
You'll never see his head bobble again.
What is State Farm gonna do after he's gone?
I just remember seeing a news article with him when he was getting like that flubber stuff put in his knee. And they're like, he's getting real flubber, like from Robin Williams'
Yeah.
movie, flubber in his knee. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was a kid. I was like, he's gonna bounce like Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, he is.
I guess I feel kind of silly getting upset about someone's death if I don't know them. Like it's kind of. I don't.
But you do,
huh?
don't you?
Well,
I mean,
when Michael
you've
Jackson
already-
died, I didn't. I mean, I was just like, damn, that's fucking crazy. But I wasn't emotionally affected.
But by picking out somebody that would bother you if they died, says you are affected by somebody that you don't know.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but
if Elon Musk, you said it would be bad for the world. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying you'd probably be pretty upset.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's different because of Matt Bellamy. While he plays a mean guitar and he's got some serious pipes, he's not doing anything for the world. Elon,
That you know of.
all right, fair enough. But my point is that like Elon is doing tangible things to move the human race forward, in a positive way.
Right, but which one of those would bother you more?
Elon, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that would be devastating. I mean, you would hope that someone in his companies could pick up the torch, but I mean, Gwen Shotwell's an amazing person. She's the president of SpaceX, but I'm just not sure that she has the same vision.
Maybe Grimes could birth a baby Musk.
Then we wait 20 years for him to amount to anything.
Baby Musk.
But you would be in a funk
Yeah.
for a day or so after that.
Yeah, I'd be worried about the future, obviously the future of SpaceX and Tesla and, the hopes
the
to
rest
get
of
to
us
Mars.
are shallow. You're much deeper. We get that. Yeah.
But I relate it to like, when you're talking about just celebrities that you're a fan of, and you're getting overly upset about their death. It feels like that should be reserved for the family, the people that knew them, personally, and not this persona that they project out into the world.
Okay.
I mean, I understand your point.
Yeah.
It's like you can't control whether it upsets you or not.
That's true.
Like, and I want to ask everybody this question actually: what celebrity death would actually upset you? And I would give one personally that would bother me, and this is actually someone that has recently had a lot of trouble. That's Jordan Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
His wife has cancer, and he actually, I don't know if anybody heard about this. He got hooked on a depression, some kind of medication, He had to go. He went into rehab to try to get off of that shit, and he's been in a really bad way. And I think he's a very important, great person.
Yeah.
So it would suck if he were to just disappear now. I think he still has a lot to do. So that would upset me. And let me ask. Let's go to Brad.
Fuck, I wasn't ready, man. I don't know. Billy
Anybody else
Mays.
ready? Brad. Steve?
Did you say Billy Mays? He's already dead.
No.
Maybe that would be like a. Well, I don't know. What would be a term for that? Like what comes to mind is like a public figure, you know, in contrast to just a celebrity, but someone that is someone that's a rally leader, you know,
someone that you don't know, someone that is important to you. It's not like everybody knows who Jordan Peterson is, but it's someone that has influenced me personally.
But he stands up for something, you know, as opposed to like Mariah Carey. She can barely stand up.
Got somebody.
She can barely stand up at all.
She still put on a great show.
Wow.
Well, I mean, here's the I mentioned the band King Crimson earlier. Like, those guys who I mentioned they did something nobody had done before at the time, and it's not like they're saving the world, but to me personally, it was a very big deal. It was a band my dad introduced to me. We would listen to those albums together. So it was a big deal for me. So it doesn't mean they have to be some kind of fucking world saver. It could just be that they sing really well and play bass really well. It could be, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being upset over that.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, like the frivolity, and there are people that definitely like to project their grief out there to get sympathy points, and also to say like, look at me, I'm so sad.
Yeah.
It's like the people that put "In Loving Memory" on the back of their minivan.
Yeah, that bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. But I understand that feeling. I have been in their shoes. I understand that feeling of wanting sympathy from people.
Yeah.
And it's and I think that's what people are doing. When that happens, you have such a, say a family member dies, you have such a terrible feeling and you don't know what to do with it. And you feel like you want sympathy from everybody everywhere. That is kind of the feeling you get.
Yeah.
So I understand, even though I make fun of it, I understand why people end up doing that. I think it's kind of gross, but I understand why they do it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to grieve differently, and I think that the heart of the matter here that is so weird is that any one of us has openly said that somebody that we have no one-on-one contact with, we could be affected by their passing. It was shallow, deep, whatever the reasoning behind it, an association with a loved one. All of those things are real, but you don't really know that person. But the fact that you find out that they died on a bus during a tour, or helicopter crash, or automobile accident, whatever.
La Bamba?
Yeah. Died from La Bamba.
A horrible limbo
What was his
accident.
name?
Who? The guy from La Bamba?
La Bamba. La Bamba.
Richie
Valentine or Richie Valens. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people still grieve for Elvis.
Yeah, totally.
Well, he hasn't died yet.
They deny that he's dead. They're so attached to that. Yeah,
he didn't die. I mean, he just changed his name to Bubba Hotep.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have an answer to that question?
I mean,
what celebrity?
I guess I've already given mine. Elon.
You've given.
I've already given
Jeff
mine.
Bezos would be pretty tragic too, I think.
What did you say, Dave?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. That's right.
Mine would be Robert Smith from The Cure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Killer Mike from Run the Jewels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Music. So
Brad Pitt.
We got music and sports. Brad Pitt.
I mean, he already died.
He already
made
it
would suck if Brad Pitt died. Yeah, Fight. Oh my God, that's such a great.
Which,
name.
by the way, we did watch Ad Astra a couple nights ago.
How was it?
It's not as good as Fight Club.
I was totally on board like the first half, and and I still thought it was a pretty good movie, but it just kind of it just goes into a weird place.
Was the feminist message there? Because that's what I remember Brad Pitt saying. There was some kind of
A
like
feminist message? No,
I thought that
it was just he played a character trying to go find his dad out. His dad was out hanging around Neptune somewhere and had kind of lost his,
like
No, he's not
As they do.
exaggerating. That's
Kinda-
literally what it is.
lost his
You know.
mind out there and was well, it wasn't his fault, I guess, that he was shooting these beams of energy at the Earth and possibly was going to destroy the Earth. But they sent Brad Pitt to go find him and try to talk
at
him
least
down.
he wasn't as bad as being out hanging out around Uranus.
Right.
He kept
you know,
away
every
from
time
Uranus.
Every time somebody goes to Neptune, crazy shit happens.
Yeah, every time.
Every single time.
Well, it's probably because Neptune is past Uranus, so he had to pass by Uranus at some point, and it just fucked him up.
Yeah.
It was a good movie, and like at the beginning, they're working on this really fucking tall antenna, and like at first I'm like, oh, is this a space elevator? Very cool. And he falls off this thing, it's
In space.
They got
he falls off.
Yes, because he's not in orbit.
Not that
Right?
high up. He's
No.
Yeah.
See, this is
Wouldn't he
just
they
fall
actually
out?
they got this. No,
he's
they
like Mad Mike high.
listen. This
He's,
is actually a pretty good lesson in how gravity works, because being in space doesn't make you float. Being in orbit makes you float. So he's on this antenna that's bolted to the ground and just goes straight up. It's higher than the atmosphere. It's outside of the atmosphere. So they're not in orbit. So the gravity is still the same.
You're just
basically
not
the
because when you're in orbit, you're falling. You're
constantly
just
falling.
falling past. You're falling past the
That-
Earth. So
exactly.
you just
So they're working on this antenna, and then this burst thing happens, and some shit starts exploding up above him. He's on the outside in his spacesuit, and he ends up falling off. And he falls down, and when he starts falling, he's not in atmosphere, and so he starts tumbling, but he can't control himself because there's no air to push against. And then gradually he starts to pick up some drag from as he falls, he gets into the atmosphere, and I was just like, bravo, this is about right. And you might have the question of, well, wouldn't he just burn up? Well, you don't necessarily burn up just from entering the atmosphere. You got to come in at orbital speeds. So he's just falling at terminal velocity, which in space, I guess there's no terminal velocity. You just accelerate and accelerate until he starts hitting atmosphere. So theoretically, if you fell from high enough, if this antenna was, way the fuck out there where you could accelerate fast enough that when you started hitting atmosphere, you'd start to burn up. But I guess he wasn't that high.
But if you're high enough, is it going to be pulling you that much as well?
Right. Yeah. They say that like Earth's gravity is like 98% of what it is on the ground up at the space station. Like there's barely any loss in gravity. It's just that they're orbiting, and that's why that's why they float. So if you were on a space elevator or a really tall antenna, you would still be able to stand on a platform, climb a ladder, do all the things that would seem normal to you. And if you fell off the platform, you would just fall down. And he had a parachute. Anytime they were working outside on the antenna, they had a parachute. So I just thought they did a great job. So I was 100% on board.
That was cool. Yeah.
At
Sounds
first,
like a good scene.
and then
then
and I don't regret watching the movie. I thought it was
wasn't bad.
it wasn't bad. They got.
Did
stuff
you
right.
Bad
fall
Boys
asleep?
3.
No, I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
And then
All
we
right.
watched Fight Club afterwards.
Yeah.
You want to be like, this is the Brad I remember.
Yeah, I think that was Becca's suggestion. She's like, well, let's watch a good Brad Pitt movie.
Oh yeah.
I want to see Brad Pitt's midriff one more time.
Yeah, I want to see the V.
Yeah. All right, Steve-O, I sent you a video.
Yes, you did.
Let's.
Yours was the one from Reddit, right?
No,
Uh-oh.
YouTube.
YouTube. Oh, yours was the YouTube one.
Yeah.
A couple faces charges after.
Yeah.
assaulting. All right.
Got some Skittles there, Dave?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to open them by that mic there? Yeah.
Why do
All
you
right,
guys
everybody
encourage
listen, watch
so
this.
fucking much? God
Here,
damn.
I gotta. I'm gonna make sure that this isn't too crazy loud once it starts.
Couple facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon after Visalia police say they lured people onto their property to steal an unsecured bike and then beat them with baseball bats. Our Medeiros Fab is live in front of the house where the incident reportedly took place in Medeiros. What are police saying tonight? And you also got a chance to speak to a neighbor as well.
That's right, Alexon. Police telling me that the incidents happened right here behind me. A neighbor saying that the couple no longer lives here because they wanted to move to Lemoore on the
She
naval
sounds
base.
nervous.
I did confirm with the Navy
She
that the
does.
woman that was arrested is a sailor assigned to Lemoore.
So here we have the bicycle left unattended.
Visalia Police Sergeant Celeste Sanchez playing surveillance video showing a man taking a bike left on the driveway of a home on Dove Street.
Oh, he's gotten on the bike.
Moments later, Sanchez says 29-year-old Savannah Grillett and 25-year-old Corey Cornett run out of the home with bats in their hand, assaulting the thief.
Armed with bats. They were beaten with bats and severely injured.
Officers say the couple planned.
Wait, real quick. Are we sure bats are real? We're not talking about those bats. Okay.
Yeah, baseball
bats. Okay.
The bike as a decoy several times throughout July to November. If someone took the bait, they would film the entire thing to post onto YouTube and Facebook.
I was surprised nobody reported it sooner because it was almost every night for a minute.
Neighbor Karis LeBeau says at first the neighborhood supported the couple, even thanking them for keeping thieves off the street. But the support quickly diminished once people were seriously injured.
I'm not for not protecting your property, protect your property, but at the same time there was a fine line when they're starting to kind of bait them and do it kind of for other reasons because they were filming it and they were, putting it online and getting a lot of support for it.
Sanchez says at least one of the victims went to the hospital to be treated for their injuries.
Definitely disturbing. I would like for action to be taken against these people for what they've done to these victims.
The couple was arrested and taken to jail for conspiracy as well as assault with a deadly weapon. I did talk with the Navy, who told me that there is an investigation into Grillett, but they would not tell me whether or not she will stay with the Navy. Reporting live from Visalia, Medeiros Fab, KC24, local news that matters.
What is with the conspiracy charge? That is like the most vague fucking.
Yeah, what does that mean?
You conspired. We'll
Those
just add
poor
that on
thieves, man. Those poor thieves.
there. Yeah, everybody if you look at the comments on that YouTube video, everybody's like, "Fuck you, they deserve it. They deserve it.
fuck 'em.
you." All right, so
I'm not sure you deserve to get your head bashed in, but
that's I want to hear. That's
the
what I want to
question.
hear, and
You
I do
deserve
kind
a
of.
couple bruises.
I wish Becca was here for this, and I'll aim this at Dave first, who had his car broken into recently.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about both the baiting of this, setting out this bicycle bait, and then what they then did as far as filming and then beating the shit out of people? Bats.
Well, we have several issues here. I mean, first of all, don't take my fucking shit. I mean, for real. I mean, to begin with, it all started with someone taking someone's shit.
Yep.
Now, whether our society is now taking a more vigilante stance, or I don't want to really get into that, but I'm sure we will. I could see somebody after, they catch the guy the first time. I can imagine the dawning ideas that they're having over Wheaties in the morning going, we should do this every time. Yeah, we should do this tomorrow. Yeah.
We should make a YouTube channel about this.
Right. And so baiting them, I'd almost give you a pass to do it once, to soothe that vengeful need. I'll show you another one, but to continually do it, I'm afraid you're just looking for violence.
How do you feel
or
about
an
the,
excuse for violence?
How do you feel about the bait car? Bait car
Do
show?
what?
The show Bait Car?
Oh yeah,
I don't
where
know
the
what that is.
cops would put out like a car with keys in it unlocked.
Yeah, that leave a door open.
Yeah.
They'll
And
like
they'll-
stage like a fight or something, like people pull up and park this car, right? And then they'll like start a fight or act like they're in an argument, and then they'll both like storm off and leave like a door open with the car running.
That's a separate issue.
That's kind of the same thing.
No,
Entertainment.
that's dealing with a firm law about entrapment.
Well,
I mean-
it's I think stealing a bike off someone's
No,
They're
that's
crimes of
somebody.
They're
That's
crimes of
somebody
opportunity.
That's somebody taking neighborhood watch to a whole new fucking level.
Yeah.
I mean, you're bringing violence to the table over a bike.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Okay.
And
I'm
not to
separating
mention-
the using the bats and the baiting. Like the
I mean,
baiting.
If you shoot somebody
biting.
running away from you in middle of catching them, that's a crime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're shooting somebody in front of you that refuses to leave your property, that's self-defense. In a nutshell. I'm
Well,
sure
yeah,
one
that
could
depends
argue.
on the state. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm all for protecting my own shit and a little bit of vengeance, even though it's probably not right.
Brad,
But
what do you have
as a
to say?
campaign, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got Q-Aura, and one thing that pops up a lot on my feed is the stand your ground laws and what you can and can't do. And I think I've got a fairly good grasp of what you can do. So if somebody breaks into your house, you can shoot them with a gun, but you have to have that force already in your house. It's not like you can't break into your house and then run over your neighbor's house and grab their gun and then come back and shoot them. That's illegal.
We're talking Florida right now.
Well, I think
stand your ground law is a Florida thing. I mean,
You have to say you were trying
those are castle laws that you're thinking of.
Yeah, but
Well,
all these things are different states.
I think we're splitting hairs because
Yeah.
it is different states. So the issue is at
Yeah.
hand. Is it right to
What
take
about this?
vengeance?
Yeah.
And
What
B,
about this
is
specifically?
it right to stage vengeance?
No.
That's where the conspiracy comes into play.
Mhm.
They planned it.
I like the idea of baiting people like, hey, I'm going to leave this bike out here, and then get the cops involved.
I mean,
but not
there's
chase them down the street with a baseball bat.
I mean, there's one thing for a couple to have a date night. It's another thing for a couple to set up a beat night.
That's what they
It's
do.
a very
Dave.
different thing. Yeah.
Brad, how do you feel about beat night?
Yeah, well, it actually gave me a good idea to do with my 3D printer is set up an actuator on the front wheel of a bike. So when the bike gets up to a certain speed, a pin will come in between the bike and the frame that holds the wheel onto the bike, and then just send them flying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
that
like
sounds fun.
it's a just a, I guess, self-arming bike lock.
It's like the club.
It's like the club, but it just happens to latch together when somebody just rides away with your bicycle, and then they fall and get fucked up, but they stole your bike, and it's more of a security feature.
I mean, and that sounds fun too.
That's patented, and nobody can take it.
But
Right.
should you do it?
But
That's my
here's,
question.
but here's the other thing.
Don't
If
steal my
you are
bike. Maybe you
looking-
won't get fucked up. How's that
If
sound?
you were looking to do a conspiracy thing, why wouldn't you just put a tag on the bike?
It sounded like the neighbors were cool with it at first, but then when they found out that they were making videos of it and posting it on the internet, that's when they were like, it's not cool. But if they weren't posting videos of it on the internet, they'd still be heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you just mark the bike with an IFRD tag or something? And then there's no violence that takes place, and you get your vengeance
Kyle said that
because
probably.
they go to jail.
Kyle says that probably falls under booby trap laws.
Booby trap.
What are the booby trap laws?
There's one YouTube channel where they put tasers on the bike
Mm-hmm.
seat, and if it gets too far away from the guy that owns the bike, so somebody steal the bike and it'll actually tase their balls. when they drive too far away
Hell
from the
yeah.
bike.
I guess that's.
I mean, I
based
like all
because-
of these ideas. It's just I don't. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
I mean,
here's my thing on this. I imagine that the reason I could be wrong, but maybe this neighborhood had a problem with people just rolling up and stealing shit out of people's
Well,
yards.
yeah, if it's that easy to get content from just leaving a bike outside.
And maybe they had talked to the police and the police weren't doing anything about it. It's possible. I don't know.
mhm, sure.
But at the same time, and I don't even really have any problem with the baiting part. Like, it's literally just a bike on your front porch. Like,
Right. Is that really even
is that
baiting?
baiting? Or is that just a bike on your
mean,
front porch?
Yeah.
You're
So-
looking for a reason to beat somebody. Come
But
on.
well, you're not letting me finish.
All right.
I understand if you wanted to say, okay, somebody's stealing shit in the neighborhood, we're gonna catch them on camera. We're gonna definitely find out who it is so that they can then be arrested. Now, the idea that we're gonna just chase them down with bats and put them in the hospital, that's not. I don't. That to me now you've kind of carried this over, and now you want to turn this. You're getting off on this,
Right.
And you're hurting. You're hurting.
Possibly making
Yes.
money off of it if they've got enough subscribers on YouTube.
And I'm not here to excuse somebody that's just stealing somebody's bike. Of course, that's shitty, but the reason we have police and we have laws, okay, it's not just to protect the people from the criminal. It's not just to have the criminals separated from society. It's also to protect me from having to exact vengeance on somebody. Let's say somebody kills my family member. Okay, I have a way. There's a recourse there to separate me from then going and killing that person because of what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of why that laws and prisons and these things exist. There's an intermediary between the person that's been harmed and then the person that has done these things.
So you don't take vengeance too far,
right? So this idea of, well, they did it and they deserve it. Well, they do deserve something, but
yeah.
if I'm going to now take it into my hands, let's say I fucking shoot them. Let's say I shoot them before they get off my property and I'm in Texas or whatever. Is that a right thing? I don't think so. No.
It might be something that you're not going to go to jail for, but is it morally okay? Does someone deserve to die because they were on your property? I mean,
and then,
theft is horrible, but I don't think someone deserves to die for theft.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. So it's does the punishment fit the crime? How do we as a society organize everything so that we have less of these things happen and not more? So like this idea that we'll start beating the fuck out of people because that's not going to lead down a good path. It's like, it makes me think of The Running Man, where like right. Have you ever seen that movie? It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I'm on
Arnold
board.
Schwarzenegger. They have a game show where they take inmates and they have them do these death matches with gladiators.
Oh man,
you've not seen this movie?
I haven't seen this in forever. I loved it.
I've heard of it, but I had no idea what it was about or anything like that.
I think they remade it, but don't watch the remake.
No, you have to run.
Yeah,
do it now.
Just watch the original.
No, I'm holding out for the Willow remake.
Actually, there's the Willow TV show.
Yes,
is that what it is?
Tangent, but they're doing a TV show. Yeah,
George Lucas is doing it.
But anyway, that's my take on that bicycle shit. If anybody wants to add to that, you go for it.
Yeah, I think I added while you were going. I agree. That's what police are there for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that under different circumstances, like I'm okay with the baiting to get them caught, if that's your intention, but their intention was to beat someone's ass and put it on YouTube and make some money. And I don't think that's okay.
I ain't down with that shit either.
Yeah. It's too much. It's taking it too far.
Too far.
Now, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's a scenario where you can, you know, bait someone into murdering someone, and then they deserve to die.
What if you you knew you had a pedophile in the neighborhood? What if you left your kid out there?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Would it be okay then if the pedophile grabbed you?
You got the thumbs up.
Right down the road.
The pedophile comes onto your property and falls into a bamboo spike trap that you've established there.
Yeah.
Now I get to use the electrodes on you. You will heal, but very slowly.
I was thinking you were just going to put fishnet stockings on a boy and push him into a church.
Oh no. No, that's where you set him.
Oh, that's too much, boy.
In the basement of the church and say, "You wear a fishnet kimono."
Yeah.
Fishnet kimono. Where's Becca with her poem?
Yeah. Oh,
fishnet kimono. It's so revealing.
You guys want to hear a voicemail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Add
volume.
One.
Back it up.
Hey guys, Jerry just finished number 200 and got a few things I'd like to add. One, I was fucking boring. Oh my god. I must have been super tired or distracted. I don't know what the hell, but no more Jerry redacted. It's geriatric Jerry from now on. Jesus Christ, I was boring. But I was listening and a couple callbacks that you guys had. I wanted to talk about stuff. One, when I first started listening and the musical break with Todd and Steve-O kind of talks over it, I always thought, like, probably the first 10 episodes I listened to, I thought that break was actually live. And when you kind of hear Steve-O talking, I thought that you guys were just fucking it up until I figured out that it was recording. And that was just dumb on me. The pickle cleaver thing, some of you guys know, after that initial episode, I cut out that poop knife, put it in the bathroom at work, and I've actually adopted Fecal Cleaver as my username, as my gamer tag on every game that I play. PUBG Mobile, some other online games. My gamer tag on all of them is Fecal Cleaver. That's pretty much. And you know what? I think that was actually my name in Mixer for a while too. And you know, pretty much glommed onto it like a wet, sticky shit. And then Brad, your story about the strip club and going with your dad reminded me back early 2000s, my wife and I got divorced. I picked up a rebound girlfriend, and it was a typical rebound girlfriend, not the classiest lady. And her and my parents, both my mom and dad, actually went to a strip club together.
Oh, God.
In my
I'm not bringing
hometown.
Mom.
While we were there, it was a little awkward, Brad, as you alluded to, just knowing what to do and looking at naked women with your mom is kind of weird. But I saw a girl there dancing that my family had known since she was probably 8 years old. So about 10, maybe 12 years, we've known this girl, watched her grow up, and there she is dancing on the stage. That was just more than a little awkward because, I mean, it's a girl you knew was a little girl, and there you're seeing her naked. So, I mean, she was hot. I wouldn't.
Oh, that was it. Oh, 3 minutes is the cutoff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he said he got cut off.
Oh,
it was a good
that
ending.
sounds
That's
way
perfect.
more awkward than my story.
I feel that's
what a
the kind of
cliffhanger.
uncomfortable you could die from.
Oh,
is there like
yeah.
a medical term for dying from being that
Way
uncomfortable?
It's got to be, man.
From
Being at
watching
a strip
a girl strip with your parents that you knew since she was 8 years old. What could be worse than that?
I would just refuse to go. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I would
taking
yeah,
my mom
that's-
to the strip club. Like, no. No.
I mean, it rolls so easily off the tongue. No.
No.
No. The easiest no I'd ever have
No,
to say to my
Mom.
mom, too. No. Not doing that.
Well, thanks,
Is it time
Jerry.
for a
man.
home, Mom?
Yeah, I mean, go to the strip club with your dad. That would be fun.
Yeah.
No, actually, my dad's band. He had this band years ago, and they played at this fucking. This was a crazy fucking thing. It was a biker rally in the mountains, like somewhere outside of Chattanooga, in the middle of nowhere. You just rolled up. There was like 1,000 bikers, and it was just this massive party. And my dad's band. It was like a blues rock band played at this thing.
Yeah,
and
that's
then they
dangerous.
had.
I played at a biker club once, and that shit, it gets crazy.
They were pretty cool. I mean, there was just like a lot of like naked people. They just like clothes were optional. Some of them you wanted to see naked. Some of them you definitely did not.
Did you get the impression that you were supposed to hate the same people they hated? That was the impression I got at the biker club that we played way back in the day. It was like they I mean, there was no like Trump back then, but it would have been like, if you ain't for Trump, we're gonna kick your ass while you're playing. We're gonna fucking steal your guitar and beat you with it.
I feel like this crowd was more of the aged biker crowd. It was more of the senior sector. It wasn't like the hardcore drug dealing, murdering types.
Okay.
Mostly, but it was. I mean, those things were happening. There was definitely drugs were there and things were happening, but it was still low key.
Okay.
I didn't really feel that my life was in danger. I remember there was at one point after the band was done, this old guy gets up on the stage with long beard, and he was like, long gray beard, and he was like, "All right, now we're gonna have the titty showdown. Let's get the girls up here."
Showdown.
Do they?
I don't know what it was something like that. He was just like, "Let's get the girls up here," and they're just like, "All right, come on, you girls, get up here." And I do remember it ranged from a grandma. I'm not even kidding. From a naked grandma. It was like Claremont Lounge. It was like naked grandma to extremely hot girl wearing nothing but leather chaps.
All right.
And there was one moment where I did see the girl in leather chaps have her pussy eaten by another girl on the stage. That was sort of the height of that whole evening, and the guy with the long beard was definitely happy finally. He kept going
see it?
He kept going like, "Come on, girls. We're not messing around tonight." He was like egging them on and tried to get them to like, "We're supposed to be having fun here. Do some more shit. Get more naked.
Get more naked.
Take your skin off.
Yeah.
Let me see what's underneath.
See them pussy lips. See that on stage.
Take your skin off."
So yeah, I did see that. That my dad was there for that, but definitely not my mom.
I've still got a video from Brad.
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh yeah, play that beautiful bean
All
footage.
right, here, let's share the screen here because you're gonna want to see this woman.
Oh yeah.
Well, I did issue for a defective equipment. It's $80. You have till September 16th to take care of this. Get you to sign there with the Exodus.
Even give a warning for this.
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
I'm truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
But, well, I don't want to sign it because I don't want to do $80.
You don't want to sign it?
No, because I don't think that I deserve to pay $80 for something that is fixable and I can fix it.
All right.
That's all you want
Go ahead,
to do.
step out of the car.
Why?
Because you're under arrest. Step out. Step out of the vehicle.
No, I'm not.
Step out.
No.
Step out. I'm giving you a lawful order. Step out.
Oh my God, this
See an
woman's
old lady
making it.
get beat down.
I'll be fair with you.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
I'm placing you under arrest. Step
You
out.
are full of because you're me under no arrest.
Do not Do not take off.
Shut up and give me that and I'll sign it.
Step out.
No.
We're beyond that.
Too late for that.
We're beyond that.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh
no.
boy, here we go.
He better run her off this road.
Hit maneuver.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
But I'm white
Get out
and
of the
middle
car.
class.
Don't you know who I think I am?
Get out of the car!
I know people.
Slap that pooper down on the pavement.
Wow.
Put your hands behind your back!
Now!
She's still saying no.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What the fuck?
Oh, tased her.
He tased
Yeah.
her.
Behind your back!
He did it.
Get it.
Oh man!
Oh, my
Get
God.
it.
Put your hands
Piss
behind
yourself.
your back!
Right in the ass.
Lay down and put your hands behind your back! Now! No, you will not! You're gonna get it again!
Oh man! I am entitled.
Oh my damn.
I feel like he's going to have trouble getting those hands behind him.
Yeah. Oh, you got
There
it.
we go.
Wait, maybe.
Oh.
There
Do
you
you
go.
realize you just got yourself in a whole lot more trouble?
What?
For running?
Soccer kicks her in the head.
Oh, I didn't run.
You're gonna arrest me. I pulled him here thinking
Because you weren't going to arrest me.
Yeah, I'm hurt.
What hurts?
Everything.
My ego.
You got a what on the way?
I got an ambulance on the way to check you out.
Ambulance? I don't need an ambulance.
Well, you got...
I'm not paying for that shit.
Well, that's the Dave. If you've ever heard of a boomer, that's a textbook definition. If I've ever seen one,
Dude, that is unbelievable, man. That
She'll-
woman is a. Oh.
she'll cuss somebody out at a Walmart for not helping her, even though they're not employed there.
That's about. It's about as unwise of a interaction I've ever seen. It just.
I don't think I deserve this ticket.
So I'm just gonna leave.
You're not going to
I ain't
arrest
paying
me.
$80 for something I can fix myself. Well, I mean,
But you didn't. I'd love to know what it was.
If I remember that right, I
You
think
get
it was
it.
like her tags were out or something.
Or yeah, that was his. Her
Some
tax
kind
were
of
out for
bullshit.
6 months out, and I think she knew about it. I'm not sure about that. I'm guessing, but 6 months out and $80, and then it gets fixed. And
I've actually-
don't go to jail.
I've gotten out of quite a few tickets, and I've just given warnings or whatever.
Yeah.
And what you got to do, just say yes, sir,
Yeah.
and or yes, ma'am. Occasionally, be very polite. Turn your dome light on. Put your hands on the top of your wheel, and be just as friendly as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of belligerent shit. It's just, I know you feel like you got your rights, and you're probably a sovereign citizen, and you own Barack Obama's name and all that shit, but it's just unwise. I know you feel the Constitution like in your blood, but
yeah.
And
stupid.
if you really have a good point, then you're just gonna have to deal with it in court.
You
Take it to the
can
judge.
go to court
You
if
take
you
it to
really
judge.
want to make your statement.
You don't even
go
have to
court.
get a lawyer. I mean, I think in most
No.
cases, especially
No.
traffic violations, you can just speak
represent.
your case
Yeah.
and be
Well,
like,
I
"This is
told-
what happened," and blah blah blah.
I've told the story about beating a speeding ticket
Yeah.
in court
Right.
on year
Yeah.
before, and that at that point I actually was stupidly arguing with the cops, and he just got fed up with me and said, "Tell to the judge,"
Right.
and I did, and
You
I
did.
did end up winning.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, don't
don't
fight with the officer. Fight in the court.
don't fight with the guy that could kill you and then say you did some shit later. I mean,
Yeah.
Plant some cocaine on you.
yeah, drop a fucking gun on you. I mean, that shit happens, man.
I mean, I've gotten out of a ticket here or there. I mean, probably my most embarrassing get out of a ticket I can say was it was a long time ago, and I was commuting from Athens to Alcoa often, and I was on 75, and man, that was back when I wore underwear, and
That long ago. That long ago.
You stop caring.
Long time ago.
and man, my
That's
underwear
why
was
Dave's.
creeping.
That's why.
And there was a
Dave's
car
balls hang
behind me.
so low.
I was in the right-hand lane. I was doing the speed limit. But, you get to doing that jerking thing, trying to get shit right,
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't wait anymore, so I just went to digging. And sure enough, I got blue lighted because, I was moving the car.
Yeah.
And he blue lighted. I pulled over. And he came up and all the stuff, just common sense. Yes, sir. No, sir. Absolutely. Yes, I did do that.
Yep.
And
I was
why?
digging in my crawl.
I said, I just
Digging
told
in
him
my
the truth.
crawl.
I said, man, I had some underwear creeping and I needed to get to it. And he goes, well, I don't smell any alcohol on you. That sounds like a reasonable excuse.
You have a good day, sir.
Nope. Somebody said, he said, get yourself fixed and hit back on the road.
Yeah, I had this. We have this Aikido, this martial arts summer camp that I've done quite a few times, and I was coming back from that, which is it's in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is north of Chicago.
Aikido.
That's a long fucking drive. Yeah. So I had been driving back all day. I get into Alcoa and I'm going, and I'm going like, and this was what, 6-7 years ago. I had 2 girlfriends ago at that time. So I'm speeding into town. I'm texting her and I'm going like 50 and a 35. And the lights, he comes behind me and he's like, man, I give you 5, but that 15
Can't do it.
I can't give it to you, brother. And I was like, man, I have been driving all day from Chicago. I just said Chicago because who the fuck knows where Kenosha is.
Yeah.
Like, I've been driving all day from Chicago. I got this girl waiting for me right now. And I'm like this close to home. Like, and he was just like, he's like, man, I completely understand that, brother. He's like, I know you've been on that highway all day. I was like, yeah, you're used to driving fast. I've been driving fast all day, and suddenly I'm in town, and you don't feel like you're driving as fast as you are.
You're in
you know
familiar
what I mean?
territory now.
Yeah. It's like I've been going so fast all day. This doesn't feel like anything, and it was an accident. And he was like, man, I understand that. Well, don't do it again. Just like
that.
Go.
Being a bro.
Man, just those friendly good old boys, just like some of them have more understanding. They're not just trying to write a ticket.
Go ahead.
You just gotta be polite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, do you know why I pulled you over? If it was speeding, be like, yeah, you're right. I got a little heavy on the accelerator there. I wasn't paying attention to my speed. You're right. You got me. And then maybe, or you can tell a story. Actually, just take Nathan's story and just tell. I always heard
tell that story every time. There's always supposed to be around the corner, sir.
I had a friend years ago, and I guess it was true. He really had to shit. He had some diarrhea problems going on, and was almost home, but it was coming,
no.
And so it picked up the pace a little bit and got pulled over and told the cop that, like, I am about to explode. If nothing, like, you can write me a ticket, but can we just at least go to this gas station? You can block me in, but I'm bad stuff's about to happen. And they ended up letting him go.
Oh, that's nice of them.
That reminds me of, I'm going to tell a story on my sister Elizabeth. And I'm sure Scott will listen to this, so maybe you can tell Elizabeth to listen to this episode, but because I'm telling the story on her. But she was like incredibly sick one day, and laying up kind of sick, and she was speeding up trying to get home, and she got pulled over, and she was like, yeah, I guess she had been like weaving some, and the cop thought she might be drunk.
Yeah.
And he got her to get out of her car, and as she got out, she just puked all over his shoes. Like she puked all over the cop.
And so he still thought she was drunk.
Well, no. She was like, she said she was, she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sick, and he's like, well, I can't. He couldn't smell alcohol.
Right.
Especially
if you're puking, then you would. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're puking from out, you smell it.
Absolutely.
So apparently, I mean, he was incredibly pissed, but he just told her to get in the car and go on.
Get out of here.
Just get out of here, yeah.
What's the radio call for that? Getting back in your car with puke on your shoes. There's got to be I've got to get back. I've got a 511.
Oh,
I got a 511.
I would think you would clean that up and never talk about it because you don't want to get some new nickname.
Yeah.
Back at the
barf shoes.
Puke shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, barf shoes. What are you doing?
All right. We don't have a poem this week. I don't know what to do. It kind of leaves me feeling.
Oh wait, we didn't get to.
Oh, I got a short little story here.
Yeah, hit us with that. Maybe we'll close out with this.
Yeah.
This will be our closer.
So I've been waiting for something like this to finally pop up, but there is a man that identifies as a 8-year-old female.
What? Why?
So you've been playing VR chat now, have you?
He used this as a defense because he was going to be sentenced to 10 years in prison for possession of child pornography. Yeah. And there were some videos of him in court, how he was acting. Like he was still drawing like little kids having sex.
Oh man!
And acting like an 8-year-old girl.
And those
in
were
court.
those were the ones we were trying to avoid when we were looking up the articles, right?
Yeah, like it would just start playing, and then another video would start playing of a different news article. So yeah.
Glad that's in your Google history and not mine.
But yeah, he's in jail for 10 years. But yeah, I thought it was funny that he was using a defense of he identifies as an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah, it's since 10 years for possession of pornography that showed children as young as infants being sexually abused.
Whoa.
Does he know that going to prison is probably not going to have the end result that he desires?
And I do like how they have in the tweet, they go, she claimed content was protected by free speech. What? So they're acknowledging that this man is a 8-year-old girl because he identifies as that.
His
at the
attorney?
bottom it says that it was computer generated. Was computer animated and protected by the First Amendment.
Oh, it was CGI.
Oh, it wasn't real.
Kiddie porn.
Oh, so it's like cartoons and shit.
Well, that is a gray area in U.S. law because I mean, a lot of Japanese like manga and stuff has that in it. It's like in there. Like if you look up like hentai manga and shit like that, there will be girls that look too young. that
well,
is a very common
let's just look it up
Japanese
now.
thing.
No, I don't want to look
up for
any of
YouTube.
this stuff up.
Dave, it's art.
No, I don't believe it.
You don't believe in hentai?
You better believe.
Dave, tell me you believe in hentai.
You're in one,
I don't even know what that is.
Look up.
I'm not going to look it up.
Look up.
No, Steve was going to look it up right now.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, look up
No.
Bible Black.
It's
Everybody
called
go look up
hentai,
Bible
and
Black.
it's art.
Oh, look, he's already got his phone out. He's looking it up himself.
Yeah, he's looking it up. Look.
Turning the
Share
TV
with the
off.
rest of the class. Oh,
I'm not doing anything.
give it his full
He's just
attention.
doing the like.
TV's off.
I'm just going.
Steve-O's doing the. Yeah, he's doing the like the TV hacker thing.
Yeah.
His famous keyboard impressions he's known so
I'm
well
zooming
for.
in and enhancing right now.
I'm free of your dirty.
Are you?
Should you be though?
You're gonna be tempted later.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna wake up in a cold sweat, and you're gonna go, "What is hentai?"
Yeah.
You guys have
Can the
corrupted
name of this episode be when Dave looked up hentai?
all of y'all corrupted.
No,
my
we can't have
innocence.
hentai in the title. We can't. Yeah,
Y'all
that's
have
probably
y'all
a bad
have
idea.
besmirched my brain with your nasties.
What?
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for.
I just
Oh,
can't
okay.
wait to get wherever I'm going.
I
because
signed
I know
on.
people that listen to this podcast, and they're gonna be like, "What's hentai?" And I'll just say, "Look it up." Just look it up.
And you're welcome.
Dave, can you, let's say in a Shakespearean mode, tell this will be our poem. Tell us how we have corrupted your brain. Just say, however you want to say it. Say you don't want that in a Shakespearean sense.
Or we pull up the hentai.
You can go through life with blinders on, see nothing that you choose, see everything that you're forced. It's your choice. You've given free will, yet the onslaught of the nasty is so real.
I want to name that Peaky
beautiful.
Blinders.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great. The onslaught of the nasty. Fantastic. That's us. That's verbal assault. Thank you, Dave. That was perfect.
The
I put
real
you on the
verbal
spot.
assault.
That
I
was
put
good.
you on the spot, and you did much better than Todd used to. When you'd say, it's crazy
It's a
around
big
the world.
world, man.
It's a big world out there, y'all.
It's a big world.
Keep it between the lines, man.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hopefully, Becca will be back soon. I know everybody is upset about that as much as me.
Yeah.
Thank you to Haywood Banks for our theme song, even though we keep getting copyright claims.
Can we just
don't
put in the
mind.
description that it's used with permission?
It won't
No, that
matter.
won't.
Yeah.
It's
doesn't
the
work.
algorithm. Yeah, it just catches it.
Oh,
There's
We'd have
nothing
to
we can do.
dispute it, be the only way, and we don't even know that he would actually stand up for us.
Yeah, it's just like
We
we're gonna
had
have.
this.
Like, I don't know
from
these
you
guys.
years ago.
We'll have to change it at some
I
point.
was so
Don't
drunk
tell
that night.
Don't tell Becca, but we might have to change it at some point.
she'll never listen to this.
might
It
have
doesn't matter.
Oh, she'll listen. She'll listen.
She won't hear that.
Oh, wait. Oh, I missed. Kyle said hentai is just like the birds, not real. Well, that's a good point, Kyle.
That is a good point.
Good
Yeah,
point.
that's a
Don't
good
trust the
point.
birds, y'all.
I don't. They
Hey,
scare the hell out of me.
follow us on Twitter, _verbal assault _. Watch us live on YouTube, roughly 10:30 every Wednesday. Yeah. Brad?
Like,
Patrick.
and what?
No, it's
Patrick.
Patrick's turn.
It is me?
Go.
Yeah,
Okay.
go Patrick.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast from. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, and leave a 5-star review and support us on patreon.com/verbal assault.
And guys, you could always call up 865-316-6955 and tell us what your favorite hentai is. And if we get enough votes, we're going to show Dave that hentai.
Yes.
Yes, that is it. I love it.
Perfect.
Call in, guys. Vote now.
But
Lines
none
are
of
open.
none of that kitty shit. We don't want any of
yeah,
that.
we
We're
don't
not
want that.
doing that.
We
We're
don't
not
want
doing that.
Mm-mm.
You tasteful people, you'll know the good ones.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Make sure it's uncensored.
Yeah. Make sure that's uncensored too.
Mm-mm.
Excellent
I
stuff.
call deuces.